got shot.
It was life and death.
Somebody's killed your son.
I think both sides have to come together.
When it comes to African-American men, we only get the mug shot.
You know, it's abnormal.
Was it really worth it?
You gotta be the tough guy.
Tim Jackson presents How to Kill a Black Man, available on Amazon Prime Direct. This is the No More OGs podcast. From controversial topics to creating financial freedom, we will talk to real people about real situations, providing real solutions. No celebrity endorsements, bringing you unfiltered discussions, dope interviews, and giving you the blueprint to create the culture that you will be proud of. So kick back, turn up the volume, and let's get to it. Here's your host, yours truly, Mr. Purpose on Demand, Mr. Retired at 37, Mr. Tim Jackson. What's going on? It's your man, Tim Jackson with the No More OGs podcast. I'm your host. I'm here in the beautiful ATL, Atlanta, Georgia, baby. Listen, man, as you guys know, you saw the preview before the show started. Get the documentary Tim Jackson Presents How to Kill a Black Man on Amazon Prime right now, you guys. We need to make that documentary number one, man. It's talking about black culture, specifically as it relates to men and how we can solve some of the problems that oftentimes we create. We hold people accountable in that movie on both sides, but if we really want to see the change we want to be, we got to start on our own. So check it out. Also cop the book, Real Dope, an in-depth comparison between real estate and the dope game. It talks about exactly what it sounds like, man. I wrote that book for my homeboys in the hood, and now we use this book to fund real youth mentoring. I haven't made a single penny off this book since it's been out. This will be the 8th year in its existence. But y'all see all the stuff we do on real youth mentoring. We were just profiled on Yahoo Sports. We were profiled on Fox 4 News locally in Dallas. And that story's going to catch fire, and you're going to see us all over the nation. So just know that your purchase of this book contributes to my 501c3 Real Youth Mentoring, and those kids definitely need it. But check this out, man. I flew all the way to the A, y'all. Listen, I'm going through that season right now when when I hear that voice in my head, when God tells me to do something, I just do it, man. I was like, I need to go to Atlanta. I don't know what I need to do in Atlanta. I'm just going to go to Atlanta. So I'm going to link up with Dre. Definitely link up with Dre. I said, but there's some people in Atlanta that this show needs to hear from and needs to see. And one of the first people I thought about was this brother I'm about to introduce to y'all, man. This guy, I met him about 4 years ago, man. Matter of fact, 2 buildings over. We were at the Hard Rock, at an event with Erica Williams, right? Networking. And, man, this brother, he's in real estate. He's doing some amazing things in the wholesale space, the wholesale game. My dude has one of the best email marketing campaigns out in the game, man. I get your emails all the time.
I appreciate it.
But, man, I knew it was just something about this brother. I couldn't figure out, couldn't put my hand on what it was. And then I found out that, you know what I'm saying, me and him share the same birthday, January 5th, 1911.
Exactly.
No, he's a brother of mine with Capital Alpha Return Incorporated. Yo, to the Nukes, happy Founders Day just passed. I want to introduce to some and present to others my guy, Mr. Marquis Robinson. What's good, brother?
Man, what's going on, man? It's a pleasure to be on. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak to you and your audience, man, and just give back, drop some gems, and give some game. But most importantly, man, the opportunity to get in front of your people, man. I have a lot of respect for you. Shout out to you with the juicing journey, by the way, too. I bought the damn ebook, like I told you. I bought that. So again, man, just a genuine connection since we first met. I didn't even know you were a member of the frat at that time.
I didn't know you was Snoop either, bro.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But that just goes to show you, man. You never know who you meet. I love what you're doing out in Texas as well. I love that market. You kind of inspired me to get over there. I don't even know if you remember. You shared some information with me on some properties out there a while back. And I was like, okay, this is somebody that I definitely want to stay connected with. You know what I mean? So from there,
No, go ahead. You said from there?
Yeah, from there we just been killing it, man.
Man, you've been doing your thing, man. I'm a follower. I'm a student of the game. You know what I'm saying? And anybody who knows me watch this show. I don't really fool with a lot of people, man, because it's a lot of stuff out there. But I watch people move, man. And one thing I admire about you and respect about you is your consistency. Andre, he's here in the background. He talks about that a lot. And when you see a person moving and they're being consistent, those are people that tend to always be in motion. And what happens is the people that aren't consistent, the people that aren't really getting the movement in their life, they fall off, but then they think that we're lucky. They think that people like you, well, he's just lucky. Well, he's just different. He's different because he's consistent. He gets up every day. He does the exact same thing. Whether it's raining, sleeting, snowing, whether it's a good day or bad day, you have systems in place that do a lot of your work. But more importantly, man, you actually enjoy what you do, man. And I want to talk about that today because you're in the wholesale market, which is an interesting market. It's a niche.
Yeah, for sure.
And wholesaling has had its goods, it's had its bads. But you've seen to survive the ebbs and flows of wholesale. One, can you talk to my audience about what wholesaling is and how you've used it to your benefit?
Absolutely. So wholesaling is basically you're the middleman of the transaction, right? Think about it like, I don't know, you go to Costco or Walmart, right? Whatever they're charging you for the produce, they didn't get it for that. So if you're buying grapes for $2, I promise you, Walmart did not get the grapes for $2. They would not make a profit, right? They're buying it at a wholesale price, right? And I learned this when I worked at Verizon before I got into real estate. We would sell phone charges and stuff. And my boss was like, hey, just offer him a 10% discount. I'm like, how? He's like, hey, we got it way less than that. So trust me, we can offer a discount. But that being said, we're basically the middleman of the transaction. What we would do is pull a list of potential prospects who are going through divorce, bankruptcy, you have it, right? In a distress situation, we're offered to buy their house and close on it in 30 days. Let's say I get the property for $100K. I may sell it to you, Tim, or somebody from your audience for $125K. Okay. I'll double close on that property with private money, make $25K, and sell that property to the other investor, and I wouldn't make any repairs to it. No credit on the line or anything like that.
That's it. It's straightforward.
Yeah, straightforward. Very
that's just straightforward. That's like literally the easiest way that you can explain something.
Absolutely. And it's a simplistic model. I like the model because when I first got started in real estate, I was the guy they were talking about on the YouTube videos. Hey, if you don't have any credit, my credit was terrible. Yeah. If you don't have any cash, I was a broke teacher at the time, right? If you don't have any real estate experience, that was me. I checked a lot of those boxes, right? And I was like, man, if I can sell phones at Verizon and do very, 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 very well, I can sell houses. It's just a different product. And it made me think, even some of the people in our community, man, if you can sell some illegal things, you can build a business and sell houses.
Real dope. That's the
whole what I'm saying?
Premise.
So real dope. It really makes sense. And I want to go back to something you said earlier, right? I think what makes me go so hard, I understand my why. I understand my purpose. And a lot of people, they struggle with that. That's why a lot of people are working at jobs that they hate or they're just going through the motions. I know for a fact, I don't want to go back to making $2,000 a month as a teacher and bagging groceries overnight to try to make ends meet.
Oh, wow. I was
making $2,000 a month, getting paid once a month for the people listening. That's $24,000 a year,
My wife's in
man.
education.
You know what I mean? So you understand. You understand. You hear the stories. You know what I mean? And
that's a job. Let's park right there.
Yeah.
Because that's a job you do because you really want to make a change.
Absolutely.
And I think that it's interesting how, kids spend the majority of their day during the school year at that school. I'm a big proponent of paying teachers more money. Now in Texas, our school districts pay pretty decent, right? The teachers in Texas ain't tripping. Right. But there's always still that there could be more, and there could be more. But there's a lot of people who their dream is to be an educator and a teacher, which is a good profession. But the dream sometimes is deferred because financially it's just not there for them. And that doesn't mean that they don't care about the kids, they don't love the community, but people have to survive. Right.
And another reason I wanted to jump into this industry is this, right? I still educate.
Yeah, you do.
I think
was about to say that.
That's what a lot of people miss. Like you can still educate, but not necessarily in the classroom. So I still educate. I've helped people make money in real estate investing. I have courses and seminars and all that good stuff to educate people on what I'm doing in real estate, because those are two things I'm really, really passionate about. Number one, education. Number two, and when I say education, I'm not talking about
the traditional school.
No, I'm talking about stuff that's really going to impact your life in a positive way. Things that we really need to know in our community. What's the interest rate? What's the credit score? That type of stuff. The stuff that you're going to apply in life, and most importantly, real estate, man. It changed my life. My first deal, I made $15,000. That's 3/4 of my salary, and I did not look back.
Yeah. And I bet you was looking around like,
is this real? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Did I just make this? And you know what's interesting, man, because I know you see it because I saw it. Right. When I saw myself, when I first got into real estate, I got into it as an agent. And I always discourage people, like when they say, I want to get into real estate, I always say, what do you want to do in real estate?
Exactly.
Well, I want to make money. No. Specifically, what do you want to do? I want to get my real estate license. Okay. Do you understand that a real estate license is a sales job? You have to have people skills. You got to be able to network. You have to be able to market yourself. You got to be able to cold call. You got to be able to face rejection. Like that's a sales job. And if that's not who you are, if you're just seeing,
you're going to struggle.
You're going to struggle. If you're just seeing somebody online with a nice outfit, a nice car, and they're selling you a lifestyle, you're going to struggle. So then I make them break down what it is. And as an agent, the first thing I did was I became, the 3% agent. I'm getting 3% commission, and I'm having to split 70-30. So on the average transaction, if it's a $100,000 house, which they used to sell back in the day, I make $2,100 on it.
Exactly.
Okay, that's not bad for a person that's already got a job. Then I became a broker. Okay, I can get up to 6% on that same deal. Well, I'm not splitting out. Well, for $100,000, I can get $6,000. Then I went to a closing with an investor.
Right.
And I got my little funky $7,500, however much it was. Right. And Buddy walked away with like 50, 60 grand. And he did.
It's interesting. It's interesting you bring that up, right? So throughout my journey, right, I was on YouTube. I saw Jay Morris and all the guys, wholesaling. Yeah. So I called my cousin at the time. She's an agent. Yeah. And no offense to my cousin, I love her to death. She's a broker at this point, right?
I know where you're going with this.
I'm like, okay, she's driving a nice Mercedes. She's showing houses, nice outfits on. I'm like, man, what is she doing that I'm not doing? Yeah. She's like, I'm an agent. And so we went to dinner. She broke down the numbers. Hey, 3%, and then with that 3%, you would get a percentage of that 3%.
Yeah.
I'm like, Tim, the numbers not shaking out.
This math ain't mathing.
Yeah, the math ain't mathing. So what I did was, I'm like, if I can sell phones, I can sell houses. But most importantly, if she can do it, I can do it. And again, this is not shade, right?
No,
this
not
is
at
more
all.
so just having a clear. I'm a salesperson by nature.
Yeah.
I've always been this way. She's not a salesperson, right? I'm like, if I'm a salesperson by nature, I can sell phones. My cousin is doing this. I can do the wholesale thing. Because those guys on YouTube were showing checks of 5, 10, 15, 25 grand. They're going to the bank, depositing these things. I'm like, okay, let me take a look at this.
So let's talk. So I can be the first person to say, as a real estate broker, I hated wholesalers. Like, I hated wholesalers because for us, it's like y'all are circumventing the process, right? You know, you don't have, and then wholesalers would always call us, like, you know, I would get a lot of guys who were wholesalers that would be calling me, hey man, can you set up some emails for me? Can you give me a list?
Yeah.
It's just like, why am I going to give you access to my MLS so that you can go out there and make money off an MLS? So for us, it was like a, you know, it was one of them, you know, we didn't really fool with y'all like that. But as I started to become an investor, I understood, you know, that one, I had already did some wholesales and just didn't know what I was doing. I didn't realize that I was being a middleman. But two, like, the payoff is really, really
it's very rewarding.
Substantial.
Absolutely.
You don't need a license for it. Some states are trying to regulate it now because
and there's ways around that. I think I would say this, and I want people to understand: wholesaling is just another extra strategy. Right? I have a real estate investing business at this point, so I've graduated from wholesaling to a real estate investing company. Meaning, we have other ways, right? Fix and flip. That's another extra strategy as well. But wholesaling is the primary exit strategy because, again, it's less capital intensive per se, but it's very, very scalable. By that I mean, I was telling you earlier, we're in Dallas Fort Worth. I love the market, by the way. We're in Houston, Texas, Tampa Bay, Florida, and of course we're here in Metro Atlanta. So you can really scale this business and really, really make some good money.
The business model works everywhere.
For sure.
It works everywhere. It's just that you have to get boots on the ground to determine what that market is doing, and then you have to build relationships because you got to think about it. You're going after distressed properties. You're going after people that are in really tough situations. And what I try to explain to people is, unfamiliarity tends to open up a lot of business because the people don't know you. They grew up with Tim. So if I'm over there trying to get somebody that's going through a divorce to sell their house, it's like, man, you insensitive mother. You know what I'm saying? But then if you reach out to them, they don't know you from Adam. It's like, I'd rather work with him because I don't know this dude. He ain't gonna be in my business.
And I would say this as well. We're very, very strategic with our approach. I'm big on systems and processes and really, really not wasting time. By that, I mean I reverse engineer. I like the Dallas-Fort Worth market because I've already pulled the list of buyers in certain zip codes. So we target these properties per zip code, and we call from a local phone number. So it's almost as if we're in Dallas-Fort Worth. So if I'm calling you in Dallas, I probably have a Fort Worth number.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. So you got into the market. You're invested in the market. You appear to be someone who's physically in that market.
Absolutely.
And
we have closing attorneys, title companies in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas title, you name it.
So what made you, now I know you saw the success, but what made you say, if I can do this in Atlanta, I can do this in all these other areas? Like, well, did you have an epiphany, or you just say, man, this just works everywhere?
I would probably say I like similar markets to Atlanta. So before we open up a market, we do a lot of market research.
Dallas and Atlanta have so much in common.
So you have Dallas, you have Fort Worth, DeSoto, I want to say Richardson, Texas, or Richmond, something like that. So it's just like Atlanta, where I have DeKalb County, Decatur, Douglasville, Clayton County. So I look for those type of pockets because a lot of the properties I deal with are nice looking homes because I sell to a lot of big time buyers, if you will. One of them just got bought by Blackstone. So do your research, but nevertheless, I sell to a lot of big time companies who want cookie cutter homes. So we reverse engineer the process. We know exactly what they're looking for, and we go and get it. I tailor my marketing exactly to that, and we have a new strategy now where we're working with a lot of realtors to get deals done. So
talk about that, because that's unheard of in the wholesale market.
We really kind of really made it where everyone makes money. So we have a strategy where we can list the property on behalf of the seller, and we'll work with a realtor to get it sold. So I double close on the property, pay the realtor's commission, and then sell it to another investor as well. The reason we like that strategy is because in the past, I'm passing off on a lot of deals because they don't fit my buying criteria for wholesale, right? What if it's a way where we can list these properties? So again, I'm a real estate investing firm, not just a wholesaler.
Right.
A couple years ago, if it didn't fit wholesale strategy, we'll throw it away. Maybe we'll call back.
Because as a firm, you have the capital now.
Yeah, you have the capital.
It's the difference when you have the capital.
You have the capital, and most importantly, we're here to make money. So if I need to list it with Tim's brokerage and make $5K instead of 15, let's make the 5 and keep it going. All money in. It's voluminous.
You know, it's funny you say that, man, because I know agents right now somebody get approved for $250,000, which you can find that property, but it's gonna be hard. They're not even taking that. They're not even touching the $250,000 deal. It's like, Man, at the end of the day, that's still $7,500.
It's still money,
Yeah.
and I want you, like agents, to think about it like this. I'm bringing you a listing on a silver platter. I've done marketing. We've negotiated the pricing. Hey, put your 3% on this or 6% or whatever.
Right.
Long as I'm at this price point, we all can make some money. I'm giving you a listing on a silver platter. I've already done marketing for you.
Yeah.
And that's another reason, Tim, why wholesalers make so much money and a lot of agents don't. A lot of agents don't have the money for marketing.
They don't.
You know, I started off driving for dollars, knocking on doors, like knocking on pre-foreclosure doors, driving around Atlanta finding abandoned homes. A lot of agents won't do that because you can list that deal and make some money too.
You can. So what was your experience with that? Because a lot of new agents come in the game, and the fear of picking. I personally can't stand cold calling.
Right.
I hate cold calling. I worked when I first got back from the military. Man, I worked in a call center, and so man, if I never have to make another call again, it'll be too soon.
Right.
But there's a lot of power in that cold call, like being able to be, to get someone on the phone. And a lot of people don't like the rejection of it. I don't care so much about the rejection. I just don't like the.
I think one way to look at it is, and I tell all my students this, and I tell my team this as well, right? Your money and your financial freedom may be on the other side of that damn phone.
Yeah, man.
My first deal, $15,000, cold calling, right? I drove. I know every hood in Atlanta. I drove every hood in Atlanta finding abandoned homes when I first got started, right?
Yeah.
No budget, no money. I just had a cell phone and some will and some faith, right? So first guy, he was going through a divorce. And I think he had a kid on the way by his side chick up in North Carolina. Very, very interesting story, right? Older guy. But nevertheless, I cold called the guy, man. Cold called him, made an offer to him. We got the property for $15,000. We sold it for, I want to say, $50,000. I did a 60-40 split or whatever with my mentor at the time. And that's another topic, man. If you have the money, invest. Of course, vet the people to make sure they're legit. Invest in a mentor to streamline your process, man. That's probably the best thing I did.
So let's talk about that, man. Like you keep talking, and then a nugget goes up. We got to put that nugget back down.
Yeah, talk to me.
Because I'm big on a mentor. Like my business, my life, my financial situation did not change until I, one, got a mentor, and two, listened to my mentor. Because there were people in my life that were pouring into me, but I just thought I knew everything.
Right.
And when I finally just kind of fell back and submitted to the advice and the wisdom of that mentor, I started seeing my life change. Like, talk to us how beneficial it was for you to get a mentor and actually take heed to what he or she was saying and do what they told you to do, and then reaping the benefits of it.
That's a great.
Wait. And lastly, not feeling the need to make all the money, but being able to pay them for their expertise time, because you understand that on the front end, they're going to get a percentage of what you're making, but on the back end, it's going to take you to a level that you've never been to in your life.
I definitely agree. I think what a lot of people, they drop the ball there is ego, pride, right? I don't want to pay this person. They may get over on me. That's a part of entrepreneurship, risk and faith. I've paid mentors, made a decent amount of money, paid some, didn't make what I thought I was going to make, but I still learned something along the way, right?
Yeah.
And it's information they can never take from you. So I would say the biggest thing is understand the value, right? You're paying someone to streamline your process, save you time, money, and headaches. Because I could have still been on YouTube University trying to figure it out. He was like, hey, man, I have buyers. Find me a property. I'll buy it with private money and we'll resell it. Find a property. That's all you need to do right now.
Yeah.
Don't worry about how to do the contracts. I got you covered.
So you was the dude calling us, hey, man, I need that in my business.
I was the dude calling everybody in Atlanta to this day. Sending messages on Facebook, you name it. No, for sure.
Man, so you got your first deal out the way. You got your money, and it's just like, okay, I can get used to this.
Right, absolutely.
I can get used to this. So then what happens next? Is it a system? You put a system in place?
So at that point, I'm still learning, right? The next deal, I sold a piece of land, made $1,000. Because remember, guys, the first deal was 15, so I'm on a high. Yeah. Every deal is going to be $15,000, right?
Oh,
no.
Man.
The next deal was $1,000. The guy lived in New York. He had a lot of financial issues going on. Made $1,000. But the lesson is this: I was able to sell a piece of land. So when I get land deals now, I reflect back on that and just underwrite it the same way and sell those too.
Yeah.
So it's a lesson. I only made $1,000, right? But I learned something that day, and I sold my first piece of land.
$100,000 lesson.
You know what I mean? Oh, absolutely. So from there,
easy. Yeah,
from there we continue to build the organization. I partnered up with a good friend of mine. That's another thing, man. Don't be afraid to partner, right? I partnered up with a good friend of mine. We built a 7-figure organization here in Atlanta, wholesaling real estate, doing a few fix and flips here and there. And fast forward, we made $250,000 in a day. This is documented on YouTube. So I want you guys to think about the process, right? First deal, $15K, sold a piece of land for $1K. 2 years later, I partner up. We're doing deals, built a 7-figure organization, made $250,000 in a day, selling, I want to say, 5 houses that day, right? And here I am now in the multifamily acquisition space.
You're in the multifamily space.
So it's growth. It's growth. And I think that's the biggest thing when you get into anything, right? And it goes back to what you said earlier. If you want to get in real estate, what do you want to do? I started off with wholesaling, right? I'm still doing that, but one reason I love this industry is so much growth, right?
That's an understatement.
So that's
bro.
the biggest thing, man.
I think what the average person thinks about real estate is just the tip of the iceberg. Like I had James Kynes in here. He'll be the episode right before yours. He's in commercial. Right. And he explained, he said, Tim, when I got my real estate license, he said, what I realized was that 97% of the people were in residential. Right. He said, only 2 to 3% of the people were in commercial. He said, you can make way more money. It's a bigger game. He said, it might take you a little time to learn it, get your certifications, get your feet wet. He said, but all it takes is 2 to 3 deals for you to just go in there and kill it. He said, and the average person don't think like that because we want to hit the home run at the first swing. And what I explain to people in real estate, man, because I done been burned. Any way that you can possibly think, I done been screwed over in real estate, man. But I have positioned myself to do pretty well in real estate, specifically on the investment side, buy and hold, because I learned what not to do. Like my first flip was the textbook nightmare, man. But what you learning what not to do? How? Experience, right? Getting punched in the face, and that's part. And if you guys don't take anything else from this, you have to get punched in the face. I built a 7-figure organization. I got punched in the face plenty of times. Plenty of times. You know what I mean? I had to pay. You be by yourself. Yeah, I had to pay tenants to leave. I had to pay a tenant to leave a week ago. You had to do was it keys for cash? Cash for keys. For the people that don't know, cash for keys is this. If you have a tenant that's like, hey, my lease is up, I really don't want to leave, sir, I'll give you $500 to leave to damn day. Yeah. I'll give you $500 so I can make $10,000. Would you guys make that trade? I'm pretty sure you would. So I'm in this group on Facebook, man. I've been kind of lurking around the tax lien business. I'm interested. I like tax lien. Being a zoning commissioner, I look at after becoming a zoning commissioner, I look at real estate completely different. Absolutely. Like it's not just be an agent, man. Bruh, at all. And it's like you talking about transactions that take years to develop. So I like it, man, and that's a great segue. So we have another strategy in our business as well, where I'm a bit meticulous, right? I'm very, very strategic with my approach in real estate investing because, again, I never want to be a one-trick pony. Yeah. By that I mean, what if wholesaling slows down or they outlawed in a different state or whatever that may be, and even the stigma associated with it. And I have other ways. We have other ways to make the money in this business. So, for example, we have the surplus fund strategy as well. Very, very unique, right? We go after tax delinquent property owners and people in pre-foreclosure. Okay. What happens is if they lose the property at the auction and the property sells for more than what's owed on those taxes or that mortgage, right? It creates an overbid or AKA excess funds or surplus funds. By law, you can call these people and help them recover the money that may be owed to them from the overbid. So what we do is we'll call someone that's owed $50K from overbid of a property they lost at the auction, right? And then we'll help them claim that money for anywhere from 20 to 30%. So quick example, let's say Tim, Jackson, and Cole, they'll lose a property in Fort Worth, right? And it's $100K overage. We'll call and charge them 20% to help them claim that money. Let me explain. So by overage, because I know this process. Yeah. So what he's saying is like this. By overage, he means like back in the day when you foreclosed on a house, you typically, if you owe let's just say $100,000. If you owed $100,000 in that house, they would typically sell it at the auction for about $65,000. Right. Okay. And so it's a deficit essentially. So then you could write that off on your taxes as a loss. Correct. It was what it was. Now the way the market is, specifically since I would say 2016, I'll just use Texas, right? They'll buy your house at an auction and they'll sell it. Let's say it's worth $100,000. You owe that, but they'll sell it at the auction for $150,000. Correct. $160,000. Hell, between 2020, that pandemic years, they were doubling up on houses out there. Right. So you have someone that owes $100,000, but then they sell the house at auction for $200,000. Now they legally have to give you that money back. Correct. But like when you watching those commercials late at night and they say you might, have money coming to you. Maybe some truth there. Right? So let's pick it up from there. So then you go through the process of identifying those people and reaching out to them and saying, hey, I actually found that you sold the property back in this day. You actually have some money owed to you. My firm works with getting that money. We just charge a 30% fee or a 20% fee. For sure. And we can help you get that money. There's no hidden agendas. There's no smoking guns. Like walk us through. Like, so you get me on the phone and I'm like, hello. Hey, this is Tim. Hey, Mr. Tim, you may be owed some money from a surplus fund sale. Basically, it looks like a tax sale. You lost the property to the tax auction on the first, right? Right. Yeah, I did. Okay, great. So we have a way we can help you claim that money, right? We have attorneys on staff. We do use attorneys when we do this. Okay. So everybody knows this is legit. I have attorneys on standby ready to file the paperwork with the county or the lender trustee. For people who don't know what that is, right? If you lose a property at the foreclosure auction, it's a small law firm that's handling the case.
right? A lot. It's usually the same
It's the
companies
same
over and over.
ones over and
Aldridge and
over.
Pike. It's a lot of the same companies over and over. We get them to sign the agreement saying we're going to help them claim the money, and we just submit it and wait on them to process everything and cut the check to our attorney, and then we pay them their percentage and we get paid our percentage.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say, well, not a lot of people, a few people, well, what if I call them and then they say I do it myself? Okay.
So with that being said, I mean, you can do that. That is an option. But I want to be honest with you. If you just lost a property, you maybe have a lot on your plate right now. I'd rather just have our team handle that for you for a small fee of 20%, of course.
Sound like dollar bill. Yeah. That's why I get 30%.
That's all. Just 20%.
No, you know what? It's so funny because there's so many different avenues within the real estate space
Absolutely.
where you can make money, but a lot of people just think that you need to be an agent. So I'm glad you brought up the surplus because, at one point I saw people doing the tax liens and stuff like that. And it's different like when you have like let's say a person loses their property in tax liens or they different types of foreclosures. Some of those liens you have to wait till a certain period expires. People can buy back their properties.
Exactly.
You talked about that cash for keys tenant.
Sure.
I'm in a group where somebody said, hey, I just won this property. I got a tenant in there who won't leave. What should I do? Do I need to file an eviction within the first 30 days? And people, the seasoned people in the group was like, do not file for an eviction yet.
Right.
Go knock on that door and
say, here's
ask
the
them,
money.
hey, can I give you
Right.
$1,000 to move out?
Right.
And that's it. Like, because what's going to happen is if they're spiteful, they might get to tearing your house up. They might get, and there ain't nothing you can do about it but sue them.
Because you don't know what the previous situation or
You
relationship
don't.
was like with them and the previous owner.
Yeah,
Right?
a friend of mine has been in a property for 15 years, and they're getting ready to sell the property, and she's like, shit, I've been here 15 years. Like,
I don't know what to do next.
I don't know what to
You
do
know
next.
what I mean? And one thing, guys, I want you guys to take this away from this conversation as well. If you really, really want to make money in real estate, you have to be creative. Cash for keys, pay somebody to leave a house or whatever that may be, pay for moving fees. I've done it all, man. I've helped pay first month rent just to make 25 grand. You know what I mean? So
I
that's
helped
important.
move somebody to Pennsylvania one time.
You have to get creative. You have to get creative. That's why we make the money that we make, because we're creative. But most importantly, you have to have the faith and put the work in, man.
Yeah, like I said, I was doing wholesales before I knew what they were, because I had people who were getting ready to foreclose, and so what we was doing, we was fronting the money to stop the foreclosure, like before it got to the auction
and then buy
steps.
some time. Yeah,
and it would buy them time, and then we would bring a buyer in to buy it. And I'm doing this through the MLS,
right?
And so I would just make money off of, all right, hey, listen, I put up $15,000.
Right.
Man, I'm just going to charge you this much money back and pay me back 25. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Because you're going to get 100 out of it. So I didn't even
Makes
realize
sense.
what I was doing was essentially a wholesale, keeping that deal alive.
And at the end of the day, wholesalers get a bad rep.
They
But
do,
you think about
man.
it, man. We're really helping people out. Like this previous deal I did where we paid the tenant to leave $500. This guy was stressed out, man. He was stressed the hell out. He was like, man, this lady won't listen to me. I'm ready to sell this property and move to Florida.
Yeah.
I got other stuff I want to do. My other tenants they never give me these issues. She has dogs in here. I told her not to put dogs in my house. I'm over it, man. Okay, cool. Let my team get on the phone with her and see what we can do.
Yeah.
Come to find out, she's been trying to move, but she kind of been struggling to find a job, right? She's like, hey, I may be able to move with a family member, but I don't know how to move all this stuff, me and my boyfriend. Okay, we'll give you $500. U-Haul will even help you clean the place out. How's that sound? She was gone
good.
2 days before closing. We solved this problem. But most importantly, a lot of these properties that we're buying, let's say the ones that are potentially tax delinquent, we're helping the counties in the city that way, because this could be a property that they're sitting on for years before they collect on the tax foreclosure.
Man, you spitting.
So that's something to really
literally,
think about,
you know
man.
how long it takes for a county or a city to just finally bulldoze that house?
Exactly.
Like, it takes a decade in
Exactly.
some cases for them to finally just give in, because they have to go through the process.
Yep.
And then as new people come into office, rules change. A house, that's why you have so many houses in the hood that's been sitting abandoned for 20 years.
Yep. Owner passed away.
Owner passed away. There's no will, no trust in place.
Man, trust me. I'm
man.
dealing with a deal like that right now.
Yeah,
Trust
man.
me. Listen.
You got 8 siblings, 4 of them in jail, 3 of them live out of town, 2 of them don't talk to each other. It's like, what in the world?
Man, listen. Now, seriously, but on the serious note, lead with value, man. If you solve the problem, and one of my mentors told me this, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want.
Always.
Work with integrity, you'll be just fine in the industry, man. But don't get caught up in just being an agent. There's so many ways to make money out here. Being an agent is not the only way. Nothing wrong with it. Get a license if you want to, but
I would discourage
I
it.
like the investor side, me personally.
I discourage, and I have a real estate broker's license, and even though I'm getting out of real estate and focusing more on filmmaking, my job is to talk as many people as I can out of getting a real estate license, because what I saw in the last, I would say 3 to 4 years of being in real estate, man, the game is muddy, man. Like, it's like everybody and their mama like is getting into real estate. It's kind of like how teaching was back in 2008-9 when the market crashed and you had a bunch of people leaving corporate coming to teaching. Like, they didn't really want to be there. They just need the job. And so in real estate, what I'm seeing is a lot of agents coming in. They don't study. They don't know how to write a contract. They don't know how to negotiate. But they coming across my desk.
And another thing is this, right? They see the closings. They see social media. And that's something I think we could talk about as well. Let's talk. People get so caught up in social media. It's like, man, it's a lot of work that goes into this, man.
They hustle for the cherry on top and not the cake.
You know, what we have to understand is this: social media is a highlight, man. You see people at the closing table. You don't see how many times he had to call the people to follow up to get the contract. We don't see how many inspections he had to go through, how many tenants he had to pay to leave. You know what I mean? So don't get so caught up in that. It is a lot of work that goes into this, but it's extremely rewarding.
You don't see that $30,000 plumbing job.
They don't see that, man.
Where they charge you $250 a foot.
Or when the contractor ran off on you.
Bro, that's my first deal. My first flip. Bro, I'm telling you, Wes Craven need to do a horror movie on my first flip, man. It was everything you can possibly imagine that go wrong on a flip went wrong on a flip, man.
I can believe it,
from plumbing to structural to foundation. I mean, to the guy running off with our money, man. Like it was the most shitty deal that I can ever say that I went. And when I tell you that deal taught me 90% of what not to ever do in real estate. And me and my wife, I never forget, we were dating at the time. You know, after we finally closed the deal and we didn't make the money, we made some money, but we didn't make what we wanted to make. And, you know, we had to salvage some things. I said, what we doing? You know, we're going to do another one, or what's going on? Like, and she was like, we got to do another one. Like, you know, that's it. Like, you know, we learned what not to do. So let's just move forward. We start licking our wounds and feel sorry for ourselves. The money ain't going to get made.
Exactly.
And we just kept pressing forward, man.
I agree, man. Yeah, man. You definitely have to have that pain tolerance with it, man. Seriously. And it goes back to this, right? Wherever you are right now, and you want to make more money or have more flexibility in your career, whatever it is, like, you have to go back to that why every day.
Every day.
You know what I mean? Like, for me,
every day.
For me, I want young black men and women to see us making money in real estate. You know, doing very, very well, buying an apartment complex. Like, damn, I don't have to limit myself to being an athlete or entertainer, and that's something that really, really drives me. That's for me, Tim. That's what keeps the fire burning for me, because a lot of people in our community, if they don't make it in music or entertainment, right, or as an athlete, then what? You see it all the time.
That's it, bro. That's literally what this entire platform is about.
You know what I mean?
Like, the entire platform, bro.
It's like, oh, man, I went to high school with DeMarcus. He was great in football. Now he's just, you know what I mean, still hanging on to the same high school highlights. Man,
Al Bundy, 4 touchdowns in one game. We are playing a different sport now, DeMarcus. How many assets do you own? What impact are you making on the community? What's the credit score? Do you have some assets? Are you really, really making some money and making an impact? So that's something for me. I take that serious, man. That's why I keep going and continue to show people how you can get money in real estate. And it's important to have that conversation out loud.
Yeah.
You know, I always say, you know, the hood culture, they're real loud with the fuck shit.
Oh, yeah.
But we're supposed to be extremely quiet and passive and keep our head down and not brag. And it's kind of a catch-22 because, you know, some of the rooms that you're getting into, a lot of those people don't want to be seen.
Right.
On the flip side of that, you're tired of seeing the exact same thing with your community. Like, how many more GoFundMe links are we going to have before we understand that we need to have protections in place?
And the information is out here, man. Like, we at a point now, the information is out here. Yep. It's at your fingertips. You know, I have a saying that I have, man. We take pride in knowing the most about the most irrelevant stuff, man.
Bro.
What Cardi B said to Offset, right? Bruh. She went live and said something about him, right? What is this entertaining and stuff like that doing? Like that,
Jordan versus LeBron.
Versus LeBron. Bro, like, we've been that been 20 years. Like, same old, man.
People will fight you over that,
man,
bro.
These people are billionaires, man.
They not thinking about us. And that's the one thing I learned getting into in the political realm and then getting into like having professional athlete clients. Them folks ain't thinking about you, bro. They not thinking about you at all. Like, if you see these people on the street, they wouldn't even take a picture with you, man.
Exactly.
But many of our whole lives revolve around what's going on with them. And it's a catch-22. Like, I personally don't care for social media,
right?
But I understand this is where people are, so I got to force myself to post. I got to force. This is so out of my comfort zone.
And I agree with that 100%. Even like me, like, I'm very, very big on maximizing my time. Like, I can show you my phone right now. I'm not on social media right now. I'll probably get on tonight around 8 when I shut everything down.
Yeah.
But theoretically, I think what we have to understand is we need to treat it the same way these big time corporations do. It's a business for me. So if you see me on there posting, it's probably going to be gym, working out, eating clean, in real estate.
That's it.
I'm more so of a private person. I don't really put my personal life out there like that because, again, a lot of people don't care. Number one. Number two, some people are nosy. And the other ones are probably happy. Whatever's really going on in your life, they're happy it's happening to you and not them. You know what I mean?
Man,
so for me, social media is business, man. It's hey, join me here, connect with me here. Let's see what we can do to break bread.
No, that's real. That's real, man. We're gonna wrap it up on this note, man, because we've touched a lot of topics, and I definitely want everyone to, get tapped in with you once the show is over. But listen, I tell the same story, man. At the end of my podcast, I always ask this question, man. I grew up in the '80s, man. I'm an '80s baby, so the movie Back to the Future. Is like my favorite
Michael J.
movie,
Fox. That's one of my favorites.
So part 2, when they go to the future and they come back to the future, Bill gets in the time machine, goes back, finds himself as a teenager, gives him the almanac, and say, "This is the scores to every sporting event from now to 2015, 2016. Here, take this, and you gonna thank me later." And then he gets back, goes back to the future, and he's a trillionaire. Yeah, he runs everything. Biff is the man, but the world is evil because of Biff. Right. So they had to go back and correct what Biff did. So I'm gonna ask you this question. Okay. You get a chance to hop in the DeLorean time machine. Okay. And you get a chance to. Can I bring Doc with me? You Doc Brown, okay. So you and Doc go back. Yeah. And you get to the high school, the hallway of your high school, and you see old, Marquis, little young Marquis walking around. You know how we was in high school. And it's just y'all in the hallway. He's coming this way, you going that way. He looks up at you and he's like, "Man, I know that dude. He looks familiar." You like, "I'm you from the future." What's one piece of advice you would give Marquis from the future that you feel like once you got back into that time machine and you came here, you'd be where you need to be? Like, not because you've accomplished a lot, but like, people like you and I, we never stop dreaming. Right. There's always another level. Like, I'm constantly reinventing myself. Right. So what's one thing you would tell yourself at 18, like, Marquis, I don't know if you're going to listen to anything, but listen to this. I would say trust your gut. You always knew you wanted to be in business. You wrote it down in the high school journal. When you graduate high school, what's your next plan? I said I wanted to get in business and get an MBA. I've always been in the business, but I would say trust your gut. Don't steer away from that, meaning don't go to college with your friends just to be going. Go to the school you really, really want to go to, which was Clark Atlanta University, because you knew you wanted to network and be in business. So I would say trust your gut. Go all in with business administration, right? And then go and get that MBA like you told yourself you would, because you know for a fact you're going to be a businessman one day. Now that's deep, man. I always knew I wanted to be in business and sales. Yeah, as a kid. Yeah, I always knew I wanted to be in real estate. Right. I didn't know at what capacity. Exactly. I just knew that I had a friend of mine. Right. And I talk about her mom in the book. Her brother played for the Packers, won a Super Bowl with the Packers in the 90s. And her mom would always be up at the school. Like, I'm talking about, it'd be during the daytime. Right. If we had a pep rally, her mom would be there. We had something going on, her mom would be there. I'm like, bro, what does your mom do for a living that affords her the ability to be here? My mom worked for the post office, man. She can't leave her route to come to a pep rally. And she's like, yeah, my mom's a real estate broker. I'm like, what in the world is a real estate broker? Right. All I knew was, I didn't know what a real estate broker was. I wanted that freedom. Right. And so, man, this is back in the day. This is MS-DOS, computers. Man, I went up to the library, man, and just looked up books and just found what pulled books out of the library, like, what is a real estate broker? And I was like, that's what I want to be. Okay. I want to be a real estate broker because I want freedom and financial, being able to move around. And then as I got into real estate, became a broker, I realized what I really wanted to be was a real estate investor. I like it. And so then I became a real estate investor. But knowing at the age of 15, 16 years old, like seeing the freedom that her mother had. This girl, she had a new car. Right. Everything about her was just winning, and she's winning to this day. This is my dog, and to this day, through the power of real estate. Through the power of real estate. And I want to say this, man. Just going back to mentorship, I want to shout out one of my mentors now, man. Ed Bolden, man, great guy. Owns over 700 multifamily units here in Atlanta, man. Black guy, man. From the DFW area. He's from Tyler, so is that DFW? Okay, yeah, that's about 80 miles away, but that's still DFW. Cool. So shout out to my guy, man, teaching me the way on the multifamily side, man. Made the investment to get with him. It's been up ever since, man. We're looking to close a 31 unit right now. B-class asset here in Cobb County. We'll be one of the few minority operators in this area. But most importantly, man, we have an opportunity to affect 31 families in a positive way. And if you guys want to be a part of what we have next in the multifamily space, please don't hesitate to hit me up, man. No, give me your information. Give me your stuff right now. Absolutely. Everything you got. It's Wealth, WEALTH _ forever on Instagram, TikTok, you name it. Add me on LinkedIn as well, Marquis Robinson, and we'll drop everything below. But for sure, man, everything we below. Definitely, man. Stay locked in with us, man. We got some good things going on in the multifamily space. We're looking to just add value to these communities, one building at a time, man, for sure. So, thanks for having me on. Well, listen, man, this is dope, man. Y'all probably can't tell me and Marquis and they're freezing our ass off, man. They got it on, I don't know what the air conditioner set on, but listen, man, I want to thank you so much for coming on to the show, man. I want to thank you for adding value, man. I knew when I came to Atlanta, I had to talk to you. And the most important asset that we have is our time, man. So thank you for giving me your time. I'm proud of you, man. I salute you. Keep doing your thing, man. Yes, sir. I'm watching you from a distance, man. I watch you from up close. I'm still in your email list, man. I really like what you're doing, man. I appreciate it, man. So keep doing it, man. It's motivating. It's definitely helping me in my rebirth. Like every 5 or 6 years, I reinvent myself. So now, as you can see, it's the juicing, it's the eating healthy, it's doing more podcasting, doing more documentary work, but just putting myself in a new lane so that I won't stay still. For sure. But I like to see how people that I know, like yourself, are doing the exact same thing within real estate. So that's dope. Well, listen, you guys, we finna get up out of here, man. This is the No More OGs podcast. I'm your host, Tim Jackson. Do me a favor. Go watch the documentary, Tim Jackson Presents How to Kill a Black Man, available right now on Amazon Prime Direct. Also, cop the book, Real Dope, an in-depth comparison between real estate and the dope game. You guys, I don't make a single penny off of that book. 100% of the proceeds goes to Real Youth Mentoring, a registered 501c3. Man, we got some big things going on. We were just featured in Yahoo Sports. We were just featured on DFW Fox 4. And so I'm hoping that some more syndicates pick it up. But, y'all, we are making opportunities and we are changing the narrative for black boys between the ages of 10 and 18. And actually, we're extending out from 18 to 24 because that 18 and 24 range right now is just really lost in limbo. They don't really know. It's like they want to be millionaires, they want to be successful, but they don't know how to get there. And my thing is, I'm going to solve that how problem. You know, I know you got the hustle. I know you got it inside of you. We're gonna shorten that gap. And even if you don't come to me directly, the information is the information is the information. You'll be able to apply it however you want to. And we are loyal to thought. When a person teaches you something, when you learn something from an entity, I don't care how you feel about them, you will always be loyal to that thought. So that's why I'm constantly educating my people. I'm actually getting ready to launch my challenge, 100 ebooks in 100 days. Lives about to be changed. And then speaking about that ebook, y'all get the ebook. Tim Jackson Presents 25 Easy Juices. My man Marquis is on it. Y'all see me, I'm down 45 pounds in 95 days. Yep. I got about 10 more pounds to go. Man, I'm looking like I ain't never looked before, man. Health is wealth, you guys. You can go out there and make all the money you want to, man. But if you ain't around to enjoy it or you're always sick, man, you wasting your time. So get your health right. But listen, we're finna get out of here. Signing out from the A, this is Tim Jackson with the No More OGs podcast. I'll see you soon.